It was a civil war, a political collapse. Mayas divide all the Mayan area by small province. Most of them were battling among themselves. About that time, one of the most important province was Ekab. That was the name, Ekab. And the most important city built in the province of Ekab was Tulum, which is the one where we are right now. Two reasons why Mayas built Tulum in a place like this. One of them is that you can see right there. The ocean. For any culture in any time of the history, a direct access to the sea means economy. In other words, that's economy. That's a harbor. The right side, as you can see, it's a natural elevation, as well as on the left side. That means we are now, all this side where we are now, where the city was built, it's on a natural elevation. Right in front of the harbor, you can see, it's a barrier reef. The barrier reef has about 1 mile long in front of the city. That was a protection, right? Then for sure, for water navigators, they know how to come in, how to go out, but not for enemies. That's the first reason why Mayas built Tulum in this place. The second one is because under the building, you can see up there is an aquifer. The aquifer I'm talking about, it's very common along the coast. We call them cenotes. Very common in all the Yucatan lands. And the coast, there are many, maybe thousands of them. Many. What is not very common is to have a one with fresh drinking water. Because it's very close to the ocean. Usually they have brackish water. It's the ones coming from the oceans and the ones coming from the aquifers. Then that one has fresh drinking water. That was the two reasons why Mayas built Tulum in a place like this. Then they walled the area. What you can see there, it's part of the original walls. The area that was walled in that times, it has 200 yards wide, which is from that wall you can see there, to the ocean, and 400 yards long, which is from north to south. That was Tulum. As I mentioned before, Tulum it's one of the few Mayan cities where we can see the structure of the city as a city. For example, what you can see there, the foundations, you can see the lines of rocks, you can see there's a one here, there is more on that side. Here is a near one. Near here is another one. Well, all that foundations you can see, they were residential platforms. Mayas built houses on, and the columns used to be square, woods, but the finishings seems that were circular, round, because by the hurricanes. They were built with woods and palmetto leaves as the roofs, which is this kind of palmetto leaves. Good for two reasons. The circular one because by the hurricanes, and the woods and the palmetto leaves that decoys by the seasons, because by the weather, you know, it's very hot. Then that keep it cool. Good. That was then part of the residential what do you say division or the residential structure of a city. Outside of the walls, there were about 10,000 people living. 10,000 people for a city built on 10th century. It's a lot. That was Tulum. Then it's considered as the most important city built by Mayas on 10th century. Tulum, the city built on 10th century, was finally abandoned on the 15th century AD. The reasons seems that were the hurricanes, which really makes sense. We are in a hurricane area. It seems like Mayas tried to go inland, trying to build another cities. But about that times, it was the arrival of the Spaniards. Then Tulum laid under the vegetation on the next 300 years. Finally, this city was discovered on the year 1842. Two men, we used to mention them when we are talking about these ancient things. One of them, John Stevens from the United States. The man wrote a book about the conditions of the Mayan cities in 1842 and how they discovered the Mayan cities. The other man is another man from England. He was an architect. He made the lithographers of the original conditions of the buildings at that times, Frederick Catherwood. They published a book in the United States and in Europe in 1842 about that ancient Mayan cities. Thanks to that, on the year 1916, the Carnegie Institute of Washington and the National Institute of Anthropology and History in Mexico excavated this city, the first professional excavations. Since then, up to date, there are archaeologists trying to rebuild our past in this part of the city. What you can see now, that one is an 80% of the city. The other 20% was took by great robbers. 1842 to the 1916, it was a terrible time for the ancient cities, not only in the Mayan area, but it's all over the world, just like in Egypt. In one side, archaeologists rebuilding. In other side, grave robbers taken, something like that. Good, then it happens the same thing here. Finally, the 1916, then that wasn't an 80%, that 20% was too. Now, about that 80%, it is 100% original. What I mean is, they didn't bring new rocks to rebuild the ancient ones. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to see now, I used to recommend to visit Tulum as follows. 3 angles to see Tulum. One of them is this, in order to see one of the reasons why Mayas built Tulum. And part of the walls, of course. Mayas built 5 entrances to come in. 2 on north, 2 on south, and 1 on west. The one we took to come in is one of the original ones. Then, well, that is one of the reasons why we are here, and also to see partially some of the buildings. And the second angle I used to recommend, it's to have a view of the whole thing, of the Mayan city. Then, from there I will be pointing and I will be talking about the history of each place. And the third one is to talk about all the knowledge developed by Mayas in that ancient times. 3 angles in order to see Tulum, like the ancient Mayan city, and then you will have a time to explore it on your own. Then, if you consider it as a good idea, and also if we stay together in the 3 places to stop, after that you will have about 1 hour to explore this on your own. Then, is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Yep. Good. Over here, please. This side.